Here come Hot Topics with Kim and Sean.
Hello, and welcome back to Queening Alley. What's going on, everyone? Hey, the Mets signed a hitter! Yay! Let's go, Mets! Let's go, Mets! Let's go, Mets! Let's go, Mets! All right. The Mets have signed Bo Bichette to replace the offensive hole in the lineup vacated by Pete Alonso, kind of, and also to replace kind of Brett Baty and kind of move things around. They still have Tyrone Taylor and Carson Bench starting in the outfield. Kim, David, what's happening? What's going on? What do you think?
Hey, I guess, should we say Happy New Year? Because this is our first.
That's true.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
I know it's like in the world of what's his name? Oh my gosh, why can't I think of
Larry David?
Yes, Larry David. The Larry David world. It's way too late to say Happy New Year, but it is our first show of 2026.
Mm-hmm.
It's officially the 2026 baseball season now. So
not really.
It's not the
well,
baseball.
I mean, no,
season.
but I mean, like it
is the year.
Yeah.
Right.
In which
So,
2026 season will be
just
played. Yeah.
getting the housekeeping out of the way. So, yeah, what a 24 hours!
Yeah.
What a emotional roller coaster of just feeling every emotion that a Mets fan feels, like complete dejected despair, anger, and just frustration. And then you go to today, like, oh, okay, pivot.
Yeah.
Pivot, desperation. What do we think? I don't know.
I mean, at the end of the day, they needed offense. So,
Yeah.
you know what? It doesn't really matter. No, I mean, whatever. Yeah, no, the week that's been has been kind of exhausting and ultimately kind of unnecessary because they were kind of gamed all along to try to drive up the price for someone. It ended up being the Dodgers for Kyle Tucker. I don't even really care anymore, to be honest with you. Like, I'm just saying that because I'm fucking tired of talking about Kyle Tucker, and I really don't care about how he fits into the Dodgers, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't really care about anything going on with the Dodgers because the Dodgers, yes, have a very good ball club, but at the end of the day, everyone's going to have an equal crack at the Dodgers in either a 5-game series or a 7-game series in October, and they can acquire everyone they want because what matters is it'll come down to 5 games or 7 games, and ultimately Edwin Diaz will be the one on the mound to try to close things out. And I don't trust Edwin Diaz to be able to, face. Well, first of all, I mean, we won't get into Edwin Diaz.
No,
I don't want to talk about Edwin Diaz.
Yeah,
but no, it's going to come down to a 5 or 7 game series with the Dodgers. So all you can do is just continue to acquire talent. Yeah, the Mets got Bo Bichette.
Yeah,
all right.
I just wrote down in my notes because I'm so official now with my notes. Are the Dodgers bad for baseball or good for baseball?
I mean,
like, are they like creating this like super mega team that no one else can match, or are they the standard for what everyone else should be doing?
I think they're good. I think they're good for baseball because and this is an unpopular take. Over the past 24 hours, there's been a lot of discourse about the Dodgers and the impending lockout. Whether the Dodgers sign Kyle Tucker or not does not really impact whether there's going to be a lockout next season. That discourse is way overblown in my opinion. But I think, yes, the Dodgers are the model for what teams should try to be. They've built a winner, and that's why people want to go there. But I also think the Dodgers are good for baseball because it's good to have a villain. I think it is good for the sport. I think, and there are multiple reasons why these past couple of years, I don't have them here, but I believe they've been some of the highest rated World Series ever. And yes, the Yankees were in it in 2024. The Blue Jays were in it this past year. And of course, the Blue Jays are playing in their own country, but they were the highest rated in a while, I know. And I don't know, it reminds me of, again, the discourse in the NBA about 10 years ago, even longer than that, with the Heat, when LeBron went over to the Heat and the big three there. But the NBA was, and again, I don't have the ratings numbers, but I think the ratings would back it up, that the NBA was a lot more popular then, or at least NBA Finals numbers were a lot more popular then, and a lot higher then than they are now. So I think as much as people like to complain about super teams, and I get it, I think they're also good for the sport, and it makes people want to watch because it gives people a team to root against.
Right. And I think I don't want to be a hypocrite because in the past I have my mantra has been stop saying the Dodgers are bad for baseball, but you just want your team to be it's like hate us because we ain't us.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've kind of always subscribed to that mantra. However, I think because last night was such a gut punch to me personally, I felt like I was like, yeah, no, I F them. Like, because I'm like, they didn't need Kyle Tucker, but they just wanted to F the Mets. And like, I'm sorry, like you could say whatever you want, but I think that's really, I know they want to make their team better, but I think at the end of the day, it was a bonus that they said, F you Mets, we're better.
Yes.
And everyone wants to come here and no one wants to go to your team.
And I think we can say fuck on the show. But
I know, I didn't know if we were supposed to.
No, but I think that's the natural reaction to say fuck them there. But I'll ask you right now, what team are you most looking forward to trying to beat?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Yeah.
The Dodgers. And I think that goes for just about every team in baseball. Obviously, it's different in the AL, but even so, like Sean said, everyone has that crack. In the end, whether the Dodgers win 120 games or not, and they probably won't because it'll probably be the same thing as last year where a lot of their pitchers get hurt throughout the season and maybe they get healthy for the postseason. But either way, it comes down to a 5 or 7 game series. Were the Blue Jays as talented as the Dodgers this past year? No. But they were an inch away from beating them in a 7 game series.
Any given Sunday.
So, I think the whole narrative where there's no point in watching the season and just hand the Dodgers the trophy now, I think that's, again, an overblown narrative to me. I understand it. I understand the frustration of baseball fans out there because it gets annoying watching the Dodgers do this over and over and over again, and feels like they've collected a new infinity stone each of the past, dating back to Mookie Betts now, so 6 off seasons. But
didn't this one feel personal?
No. Because at the
like,
end of the day,
this felt personal to me.
It's not
like,
personal.
I mean, maybe like
the goal is to make
meaning not personal to me, but like to the Mets. Like I felt like it was like it was like to the Mets.
The goal is to make your team better, and Kyle Tucker offers an upgrade over what they had in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, that's how they view it.
Yeah.
Like they don't. They identify.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
But the reality, sorry, one more point on that. The reality is they kind of needed Kyle Tucker also. Like not necessarily, like, would they have been screwed if they didn't get Kyle Tucker? Of course not, because look at the rest of their roster. But if you look at their lineup right now, it kind of looks like a team that needed Kyle Tucker because their outfield was not that good.
They went from a really good lineup to probably one of the best lineups of all time, in addition to one of the best pitchers.
But let's do it hypothetically here. Let's say that Steve Cohen did outbid the Dodgers and he was on the Mets and he was making more per than Juan Soto. How would that have flowed?
Say it again?
I'm saying, let's say hypothetically he Steve Cohen outbid him and he's on the Mets and his per is more than Juan Soto.
She's saying if he's, that's how I feel. And you're not the only one who feels I know.
But do we agree that's absurd?
It's absurd, yes, but in the long run, if it helps the Mets have a better chance of winning the World Series next year, I don't think Juan Soto is going to fucking care if Kyle Tucker's making a little bit more than that. I don't think anyone's going to care.
But I also
if it gives the Mets a better chance to win the World Series, which it would have.
I think Juan Soto is, it's not an argument, one of the top 3 players in baseball. Like, right? Mm-hmm. Kyle Tucker isn't.
No,
I'm
not disagreeing with the fact that
you're engaging. You are playing in a market. The market dictates the price on people for whatever reason. Not as many people weren't willing to pay what the Mets are willing to pay for Juan Soto last year. I don't know why, but they weren't. And also, the idea was the thing about the Juan Soto contract is it's spread out over 15 years. So that obviously spreads out the AAV and makes it such that it's closer to $50 million. If Juan Soto signed a 4-year contract last year, it would have been for probably $75 million. You probably would have got 4 years for about $100 million.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's also that's
I just wrote something down. Brings me to my next point. If the Mets are willing to open their wallet for Bo Bichette that much money, why not sign Pete?
Because
I don't know.
In my personal opinion, and I'm not saying I think I love Bo Bichette. I love Bo Bichette as a player. I think this is a very good signing for the Mets. I want the Red Sox to get Bo Bichette. I think this was the right move to make today, in my opinion. However, I think the answer to that is because they sat on their hands for 2-3 months, and now you kind of have to get desperate at this point in the offseason, and you have to give Bo Bichette $42 million a year. And again, they got him. I don't care that they're paying him 42, but to answer your question, I do think it's because they kind of sat on their hands up until
But
now
is
and
your
didn't
team better?
didn't go out and get the guys and didn't really push to get the guys that they wanted at the beginning of the offseason as opposed to wait till January 16th.
Sure. But would your team have been better if you re-signed Pete or if you signed Bo Bichette?
As a 1-for-1,
I mean, Bo's probably a better player.
You think so?
I think I agree.
He plays a more premium position, and he's maybe not as good a hitter, but almost as good a hitter. It's close.
Well, he's not a power hitter.
But they also, I think they misread the market a little bit. I think it's safe to say at this point they misread the market. It's $31 million a year for Pete Alonso. It doesn't look that bad.
No.
That Alex Bregman's getting.
No.
5 years. I mean, Alex Bregman's probably a better player than Pete, but it's close.
It's close enough.
Again, a similar kind of deal where I think Alex Bregman actually is probably a worse hitter than Pete Alonso.
Yes,
pretty decisively.
Yeah,
but again, a premium position or more
definitely
premium
projects results.
position, and
it's about replacing his RBIs, right? And like his production and his but I mean not RB, whatever, like his production.
Yeah.
A
big
big like
power bopper
so,
in the middle. And I know Soto obviously.
And that's it. And Dave and I were talking about this earlier. We don't really have a power bopper in that one.
Soto hits for power. Lindor hits for power.
Soto,
it's not. You don't.
Not a traditional.
Yeah, you don't have.
Soto's.
Yeah, exactly.
But they needed another. They needed a cleanup.
Yeah, Bichette's just a really good
what
hitter.
about Belly?
Belly doesn't. Belly in his MVP year, yes, but Belly's a different hitter, and he's still a good player. But he's a different hitter now. He's not that traditional. Again, has a chance to hit 50 home runs in a season, like Pete Alonso gave you.
Right. Because that was what I was seeing a lot on social media. It's like, okay, Steve is opening his pocketbook. I think Jared Sell would actually comment on that. If Steve's opening his pocketbook for Bo Bichette, why not Pete? And it's a fair question. Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
I think their evaluation of Pete is that he's probably more like the player he was in 2023 and 2024 than he was in 2025, and I don't know if that's actually accurate. By the way, I think that's where I get a little confused. Is that they're so convinced that 2025 Pete Alonso is not the current form of Pete Alonso that you should expect, but they're convinced that 2025 Jorge Polanco is. Even though, I mean, Jorge Polanco, I think the biggest thing about Jorge Polanco is the squared up rate went up. I mean, he was pulling the ball in the air more. Pete was, I don't know if he was pulling it, but he was getting at least more balls in the air. I mean, when you hit the ball as hard as Pete, you want to hit the ball in the air because that means more doubles from him.
Yeah.
So he was doing that.
Yeah.
And, I think, I don't know if it's a misread of the market, or I don't know if it's more along the lines of earlier in the offseason, they weren't really prioritizing offense as much. And then something changed. And that's the thing that kind of annoys me, I think, where it's like all of a sudden you're changing your tune a little bit. If it's as simple as Steve Cohen, there are reports that Steve Cohen was involved with both of these negotiations, and based on the fact
confirmed that he was.
Well, let's
talk
about the tweet. Let's talk about the tweet.
Let me finish my point.
Okay,
but he was involved with the Tucker negotiations, and I think it's probably safe to say he was involved with these negotiations as well. Or at the very least,
I don't know how much negotiations there were. It seems like it was kind of
encouraging the pivot.
Yes, yeah.
And I think there was a change in, I don't know if it's a change in philosophy, but certainly a change in focus, where you're at first not really going to pay. At least don't want to pay for Pete Alonso. They certainly didn't want to pay for Pete Alonso.
Right.
And it is part of the order production, off an improved year. And he doesn't play third base. He plays only first base. So he's probably going to be a DH, although I still think he could probably stick in first base and survive. But I question the consistency in terms of all of us. You showed very little willingness to kind of go out there and get your guy. And then all of a sudden you wake up one week and you're offering Kyle Tucker $50 million a year on short-term deals. And he was the best hitter on the free agent market. And I mean, Bo Bichette I don't know if he's the second best. Was he no, Kyle Schwarber was available.
Yeah.
And they did offer Kyle Schwarber $40 million. But I mean, if you're offering Kyle Schwarber $40 million and now you're giving Bo Bichette $42 million, it's like maybe you should have just offered Kyle Schwarber $45 million.
I think
if you're looking for offense.
Exactly. And I think it comes down, again, they misread the market a little bit, and they were a little too content with their position in the first month or two of the offseason. And now they're at a point where, again, you got desperate this morning, and it works out in the end. It's the same thing that the Red Sox did earlier this week with Ranger Suarez, where obviously a little different because the Mets was a bit of more of a clear pivot. Obviously, they got a bat, but different position. Wasn't maybe the obvious pivot would have been Bellinger for the Mets, and that was not. It's still possible, but similar in the way where, yes, I think it was a desperation move a little this morning, but it's a move that definitely makes your team better, and the Mets are in a better spot now than they were 24 hours
The
ago.
problem with misreading the market when you are the Mets and you enter the offseason with money to spend. They've spent some money now. They probably spent, I think, close to $100 million in terms of payroll for next season. But misreading the market doesn't make any sense to me because you should set the market.
Yes,
because
exactly.
you have more money than
100%.
So instead of just letting everything unfold around you, you can just
you still have more money than the Dodgers. The Dodgers just use it more.
And you have the advantage of being able, Steve Cohen being able to wake up one morning and say, let's go out there and let's offer Kyle Tucker $55 million. And so that's the thing. I think that's the thing that annoys me, where it's like, I don't understand this notion where Steve Cohen just wakes up and then all of a sudden in the middle of January, it's like, let's go out and get a hitter. When you
why is he doing this in January and not in November?
When there are more options available, when you have your pick of the litter, now it's kind of like, you missed out on Kyle Tucker because he gamed you. And you got to go to Bo Bichette. But did you enter the offseason thinking Bo Bichette was the second best hitter? And the answer to that is probably no.
No, and I do wonder. I know they're playing Bichette at third, but like if they went into the offseason having in their head that Bo Bichette was going to be a possibility or someone that they were going to heavily target, do they make the Marcus Semien trade?
I don't know. That's actually, it's a good question. I don't know. I think they like the Semien's defense.
Yeah. I lean towards no, but because, again, I do think Bichette's a better fit at second base. I think he'll be fine at third, but I think he would have been a better fit. So I don't know. And I think that maybe shows that, of course, plans change throughout the offseason. There's no secret about that. But I do think that if they...
I think the thing about Semien, too, sorry, I didn't mean...
No.
The thing about Semien was in accounting more than anything. And they could sell it as a full run prevention thing or whatever. But really what they were trying to do was they were trying to take 8 years at $20 million for Brandon Nimmo, condense it down to 3 years at 75 for Marcus Semien, while acquiring a second baseman, making Jeff McNeil expendable. But it was in counting, realistically. It was David Stearns being shrewd, so to speak, which is what it is.
Can Semien play third?
He can
as much as Bo Bichette can.
Yeah. He's an elite second or a borderline elite second baseman. Bichette, while I do think he'd be better at second base, he's not. He's not going to be that good anywhere, I don't think. So I think they're kind of keep the elite second baseman where he is. Don't mess with that, and just try to have Bichette figure out third at this point.
Can we discuss Steve's tweet yesterday?
Yeah,
that was to me, that's like, again, I do think Steve Cohen is an owner who cares about the sentiment of his fan base. I do. And I think it was a very like tone deaf kind of moment for him. A very rare, actually, tone deaf moment for him, because it's like this fan base is really kind of, again, I know no other fan base is crying us a river about this, but we have kind of, had some rough times this offseason. Like we've said goodbye to some, beloved players, and it's it's hard. Like if you're like a dedicated fan, like we are, like a diehard, and to do that and just kind of give the insinuation that this was a done deal, whether or not he realized that that's what he was doing, but I don't know. It was a very uncharacteristic, bad moment for him. I feel I don't know. I don't know if he perceives it that way, but I feel like it was just very, he didn't read the room.
Yeah, I think it was a stupid tweet, but I think he just got mad about waiting for so long. But you're right that because of his tendencies on Twitter before, when I first saw the tweet, I assumed they had gotten him. I that was my first, but then again, as 30 minutes passed and there was nothing, I was like, okay, no, he just got mad and he's waiting like the rest of us. So yeah, I think it was stupid, and because especially at that point, Kyle Tucker probably hadn't made his decision. I don't know.
Do you think it influenced him at all?
I don't know, but it just leaving the chance that it could influence, that it could, I don't know. It was stupid to me. I agree that it felt unnecessary.
That being said, if he did sign it, it would have been super badass.
Yeah, but he
but he didn't. So like, so it kind of looked foolish. And it's like the Mets certainly don't need any help being the punchline for other fan bases. You know what I'm saying? Like we've definitely done our share of that.
Mm-hmm.
So like that, I feel like that hasn't helped. It doesn't help that narrative.
You know
what I'm saying?
I think it was pretty dumb. I think I don't really know what the purpose was.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was kind of trying to push it to the finish line. I don't really know what it was. And I think it's entirely possible, that if I don't know, has it been like credibly reported that the Dodgers came in at the last second with that?
No, I don't think anyone's actually reported like a timeline of how things went down with Tucker.
Like, was it similar to the Diaz situation? Like, did the Mets have the best offer on the table? And then
I think the Mets for Tucker financially probably had the best offer on the table. I mean, no deferrals.
I mean, the Dodgers still ended up being more.
Yeah. Value,
so, but but yeah, I mean, it was certainly comparable. Certainly in the ballpark.
Yeah. I think Tucker, if he had his choice, if all things equal, did want to go.
Sure.
It seems he wanted to go to LA instead of the Mets.
We discussed that last night too, a little
but
bit like that.
Yes, I do think, kind of off Sean's point, that whether the Dodgers came in at the last second or not, whatever the timeline was, it is just weird to me to tweet that and pretty much admit that you have your final and best offer out. Where it's like, okay, I'm waiting. That's it. I'm done. Because like I said, and I said this last night after that, I was like, he probably just put down an outrageous offer, and it sounds like he did. What was it? The Mets 4 for $220. He probably had just put that offer out there, and so to I don't know, to publicly tweet that and signify that, and it's an odd decision to me, and I agree that I don't really understand what.
Maybe Steve had too many scotches. I don't know what the hell happened, but it was odd to me. Like, because I literally, and I was texting with someone, and they're like, "No, there's no way it's not happening. That's bad business." And that's just like, and accuse Steve Cohen of a lot of things, but he's a good businessman. Like, so it really kind of surprised me that he showed his hand like that. Like,
I mean, I just think he got a little frustrated.
I think he either got frustrated or overconfident.
I think when it comes to these kind of deals, I think he forgets the human element of it, and he's not necessarily used to dealing with the human element. I think he gets arrogant, and I think that was his arrogance shining through. And
I agree.
Say what you will, he's good in terms of his willingness to spend, but he's inconsistent and a little bit volatile, and it ends up coming back to bite him sometimes.
Yeah.
And I don't think he would want to hear it, but it's the truth.
Yeah,
so
100%.
I think it's something that he needs to work on if he's actually serious about ever, turning the Mets into a perennial powerhouse.
The Dodgers of the East, like he promised.
Yeah, because that's the thing. There are the advantages of having Steve Cohen available to just kind of up his offer at any given time, and then there are the disadvantages, and that kind of seems like it would be a disadvantage.
I will say on the Cohen point, it is encouraging and it is nice to see that Steve Cohen still has the rage spend in him. That this morning, I mean, again, we don't know for sure how involved Steve Cohen was in the Bichette negotiation. I'm going to tend to guess that he was pretty heavily involved, and yes, and it was. I know you tweeted this earlier, but you kind of said you maybe just said, "All right, Stearns, you have your pick, but you need to go get someone now." So I think it is encouraging to see that still in him, because obviously there was Soto last year, but we haven't seen the rage spend in a couple. And obviously, this is exactly what that was. It was
again.
classic.
I just don't understand. I don't understand this notion of go into the offseason with this in mind. Like go into the offseason saying make these offers. I understand maybe it's bad negotiating tactics, but I kept saying yesterday, you make a few of these offers, give them short expiration windows, and maybe you end up getting the guy you want, or at least you end up getting one of the guys you want, as opposed to now. Again, I don't know where Bo Bichette sat on their big board.
Yeah,
based on the fact that they offered Kyle Schwarber $40 million a year when they thought that was a reasonable price for a top slugger. I don't know if he was how high he was on their big board.
Yeah.
Is it possible they were pushing the Brett Baty stuff? That's just posturing to try to drive down the price on him. And then eventually they just realized, all right, we're not going to be able to drive down the price on this guy because all these other guys are getting 35 plus or $60 million a year in the case of Kyle Tucker. Sure, but I don't. Again, the inconsistency is a little bit concerning and certainly a little bit annoying from where I sit.
Although it is kind of sweet that they allegedly stole him right
that's
from
another
the Phillies.
Right
from like under the Phillies' nose, like which is like that's a little bit of a bonus.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It seemed like Ken Rosenthal was making it out to seem like it was a sure thing that Bichette was going to Philly. Bob Nightingale, which who knows how credible it is, but Bob Nightingale reported this morning that apparently the Phillies succumbed to Bichette's request of 7 for $200 last night, and they were pretty certain that they were going to get him. And then the Mets, who have been this morning after missing out on Tucker, stealing from under their nose. So yeah, I think that's an added benefit.
That's a bonus.
Yes, that is definitely, because the Phillies are not good right now. I was looking at their lineup today, and they're not a very I don't know. The NL is very good, but I don't know how
it's gotten worse though.
Yeah, I don't know how part of overall it's gotten worse. Obviously the Dodgers. Yeah, the Dodgers have gotten better, but I mean, besides the top three, Turner, Schwarber, and Harper in their lineup, it's pretty rough from there. Alec Boehm's their cleanup hitter. They just re-signed JT Realmuto for 3 years today. And the rotation's not that good either. They have Sanchez and Luzardo, but they
coming back.
A lot of uncertainties besides Sanchez and Luzardo.
Wheeler,
who knows? Wheeler has the blood, the blood clots from last year. So yeah, I have no idea he's a question mark.
Right.
I don't really know what. I don't think this team's much more than like an 85-win team right now.
If you're gonna,
and I like Dombrowski, but this is not his finest work.
If you're gonna get vindictive and you're gonna steal players from teams, where were you on the Edwin Diaz whole ordeal when he ended up signing? That's again. I don't know. I just would like to see if you're going to be the big evil bad guys that are coming in and swooping in and offering these big AAV deals on short-term contracts, like be consistent with it and do it throughout the off season. No, I think that's the most annoying thing. Yeah, that's the thing that, that's what.
But it is a bonus. It's your division rival. So
no, it's great.
No, it's good. But in the end, who are you going to have to beat to finish your ultimate goal?
The Dodgers.
You're gonna have to beat the Dodgers.
And they just kind of pretend that's not
exactly.
They don't have to do that. But you do. Right. And they pretend it's a crapshoot because it's a 7-game series, and it is, except for the fact that all of their players are better than you.
Yes.
So you're putting yourself at a disadvantage.
And all of their, besides McLean, like who's even the Mets 2-starter right now?
Sean Manaea.
Like where is Sean Manaea in the Dodgers rotation? Like 7th or 8th, probably. So, you can say it's a crap. You can say it's a crapshoot all you want, but when that's the case, it's not too much of a crapshoot at that point.
Which brings to the next question: what now? What's next?
Pitching an outfielder.
Yeah,
I don't know. Yes, and maybe in that order. I don't know. I have no idea.
Trade, free agent.
I mean, they still obviously they have as much money as they want, so they could there are people out there in the free agent market. Valdez makes a lot of sense, and they've been connected to him throughout the offseason. So
there is the issue of they'd have to give up their 3rd and 4th.
That is a good point. But they're getting one back, right, for Diaz?
Yeah, they get one back.
They're getting one back. Because Alonso wasn't. Yeah. Yeah, that's a fair point. That's why I don't think they're going to sign Bellinger.
Bellinger doesn't have.
Oh, yes, you're right. Yeah,
because he already had it, so he has no problem.
That's-
That's why I think where I'm like maybe they will.
yeah,
Do
that's
Bellinger
true.
because it's not going to cost you any.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think 3 for 1. I mean, if you like him and you think he's good, then sure. And there are things to like. He's a different player than he was when he won his MVP. He's more of a contact hitter who gets the barrel to the ball and hits the ball hard, but doesn't necessarily hit it for power as much, or at least not home run power.
Well,
and,
the
yeah,
team
I
in
don't
the
know.
Bronx hasn't really done anything, so maybe they'll sign him.
I mean,
They're the favorite
they
right
don't
now.
seem like.
But
Yeah,
right now, there's the disconnect, where they're sticking to their 5-year offer. And
I'm not even like respecting them enough to call them their. I'm going to say the team in the
but
Bronx.
they're sticking to their 5-year offer. What is it? 5 for 155?
Something like
150?
Yeah.
Something along those lines. Bellinger says he wants 7 years.
The Mets are not going to sign him.
The Mets are not signing him for 7. I don't think anyone's going to sign him for 7 unless it's the Yankees. Honestly, at this point, I think the only team that is going to give him 7 years is if the Yankees give in, which honestly, go ahead. If the Yankees want to give him 7 years.
How old is he?
It's 31.
Yeah.
32.
Okay,
I don't know.
right.
Yeah. Yeah, but listen, if he's 30, if the Yankees want to give him 7 years, go ahead. But I don't think that contract would age very well.
Last night, Sean, were you there? Why weren't the Yankees in on contract?
No one really knows.
Because they don't have the money.
How do they not? They're the Yankees.
They don't have the money. It's not something they're not really interested.
Right? Didn't I ask you that last night?
They're not very. They don't have the cash.
not
I mean,
interested
Steve
in
Cohen
being
has
good?
more cash. No, not in the same way the Mets do. They don't make as much money as the Dodgers. They don't have as much money as the Mets. So,
That's so interesting to me.
The Steinbrenners are.
I was going to say George Steinbrenner is rolling over in his grave.
Well, the net worth of the Steinbrenners is probably about 1/10 of Steve Cohen.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're just. This notion of the Yankees is the big bad whatever. They're closer. They're closer to the Houston Astros these days than they are.
It's not. And I said this. I think you asked the same question a couple of days ago, and I said the same thing. It's not the Yankees. This isn't the Yankees that are going to be in on every big free agent. Because let's think, what big free agent have they actually gotten? Cole. That's about it. I'm not really counting Rodon. Hitter-wise, what was the last big free agent hitter that they got?
Stanton?
No, Stanton was a trade.
Oh,
yeah.
Signed Aaron Judge.
Yeah, that's But I'm saying, went out and
on their roster right now. There's
no, yeah. So this this is not the Yankees. You remember, this is not the Yankees. That is, and as much as Kyle Tucker would have been a perfect fit for the Yankees,
I was surprised he wasn't in on them. Yeah.
Heavily involved on Cody Bellinger, and Kyle Tucker is just a better player than Cody Bellinger, but the Yankees of today are going for the cheaper option, and they're focusing on Cody Bellinger, and even Bellinger, they're sticking to, no, we're not going to give you 7 years because and they can't get anywhere with the cheaper version of this. So
the Yankees are very focused on making sure they don't get gamed and making sure they don't get fucking, they don't get ransacked for their riches because they're the Yankees. They don't want to get played in the market, so they want to be rational in the market.
Well,
and so they don't end up signing anyone.
Do they realize that they're not the Yankees anymore? Like, I'm saying, like, the Dodgers are the team now. It's not them anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I doubt they possess that money.
No, but
no,
do we agree? Like, we all agree on that, right? Like, it's not them anymore. It's the Dodgers. Clearly, the Dodgers are the standard.
Yeah, you look at and the thing is that everyone around them is getting better to an extent.
Yeah.
Or most of the teams around them. The Blue Jays have had a worse offseason than I think people give them credit for. The Blue Jays have not had that good of an offseason, especially now. I think people were giving the Blue Jays a lot of credit for their offseason because they assumed they were going to get one of the two that signed in the past 24 hours. But they were
pretty good.
They've still made some additions. Yeah. I'll give them that. They signed Cease, they signed Akamoto, but they also lost Bo Bichette.
Cody Ponce did.
Yes, and Cody Ponce, of course. The Red Sox, there's It's close if they've gotten better, but the Red Sox have clearly, yes, the Red Sox have clearly had a motive in mind this offseason, and they've made themselves the best pitching, the best rotation in the AL. And I mean, they're not the Dodgers. The Dodgers are still the best rotation in Major League Baseball, but the Red Sox aren't that far behind.
Well, the Dodgers are more well.
So the Red Sox have done that. The Orioles have probably had the best offseason of anyone in the AL East, and I'm still not sold on the Orioles pitching. Definitely not sold, and I think they still need to add a pitcher. But still, everyone around the Yankees has gotten better this offseason. And the Rays are the Rays, but and they've made no additions. The Yankees offseason has been Trent Grisham for a qualifying offer that did they really want him to accept? Seems like not, based off what they've done after it. Paul Blackburn, Ahmed Rosario, and that's it, right?
Ryan Weathers, dude.
And Ryan Weather, yes. I forgot they traded for Ryan Weather. Yes, who is a 5-star. So, the Yankees
had a 7 on the Red Sox.
Yeah, that might be being generous that he would be the 7-star on the Red Sox. So, the Yankees have had a bad offseason. And who knows if they're going to get Bellinger, but if the Mets swoop in and, like you said, offer Cody Bellinger 3 for $120. Thank you, bro.
Thank you, producer.
If the Mets offer Cody Bellinger, then they'll probably sweep and take out Bellinger right from under their nose. So
Cody Bellinger is a very good fit for the Mets just because obviously he can play the 3 outfield positions and he can play first base, and he's a left-handed hitter, and they kind of need, I think they could use another left-handed hitter. Maybe I'm wrong, but I kind of felt like they have the everyday guy with Bo Bichette, who's the right-handed hitter, and then let's see. I mean, I guess you have Brett Baty, who's kind of now the roving 10th man left-handed hitter. Who's probably
the 10th man of the year.
Base. 10th man of the year. He's probably going to be playing first base against righties. I don't think he's going to be playing against lefties. You can make the case that they could use 2 more bats, although, I mean, I think Luis Acuna probably makes the team just because he doesn't have any other options.
Well,
home runs.
He did hit 4 home runs the other day. How many times did you see that on social?
Yeah.
I saw that like
I didn't see it that many times.
I saw it a lot. Well, my feed is all bats.
I think my feed's a little bit different.
Yeah. I do get a lot of Red Sox on my feed, though.
Bellinger can play every day also. That's the thing. If Bellinger's playing every day, then you have Tyrone Taylor who can swoop in for Carson Bench, and Santos swoops in for Brett Beatty. So, I think it works.
I don't really like the idea of playing Brett Beatty in left field, but
no, that wouldn't be happening.
I know. That was kind of just an aside where they're talking about playing Brett Beatty in left field.
I feel like Brett Beatty in left field is like Jeff McNeil in left field. Like it's
Jeff McNeil's a decent one.
Yeah, probably even worse because Brett Beatty. Has Brett Beatty ever played one?
I think a little bit.
A little bit, right? Yeah.
I don't know.
I think
Brett Beatty's an adequate defender.
Just go out and get him out. Exactly. There are options. I know Bellinger's really the only option at this point on the free agent market.
However,
I think Harrison Bader is going to end up being a lot more of an option than I think I want him to be, and I think he's as much of a fit as he was before this year as he was before 2024, which is a very unnatural fit because they also.
Exactly. I agree. I don't think Harrison Bader's offensive prodution, he's going to replicate. I don't think he's going to replicate that from last year. I'd be shocked if he does.
If they're signing him, they're probably signing him to play every day.
Yes.
It's certainly a thing you can do.
So, to me, the only option that is a natural fit on the free, or at least like the caliber outfielder that they need on the free agent market at this point is Bellinger, I think. But there are also options on the trade market.
What percent chance would you say that they acquire one of these 5 outfielders? Cody Bellinger, Luis Robert, Harrison Bader, Jarren Duran, Willie
like a 70, 75, I would say, something like that. I that they acquire one of those 5. That seems like a pretty realistic 5 options. I think I'd be surprised because I'd be surprised if they don't add another outfielder, and I think those 5 make sense to choose from. I don't think Buxton doesn't really seem like he's available at this point, right? So he's not. I mean, like I don't even know who else is. There was like Lars Nootbaar has been floated.
Lars Nootbaar, also
yeah.
Hayes.
Yeah.
It's like these are
Newbar, maybe. But
yeah,
but I think one of those 5 makes a lot of sense. And I'd be surprised if it's Abreu.
I kind of would be.
Yeah, I don't think the Red Sox are
Do you think there's a better chance? Yeah, I heard you say Ceddanne Rafaela earlier.
As the offseason has went on, I don't think they're going to trade either. But for some reason, I think I really don't think they're going to trade Willier, and I might be wrong about that. But I think there's a very slightly better chance that they trade Ceddanne than Willier.
That would be interesting. Because I think he wouldn't obviously fit the need.
Yes, yeah. I mean, he's the best defensive center fielder in baseball.
And I think he'd be exactly.
Yeah. Both I think at this point are below 10%. Both Willier and that might even be, I think both might be near 5% chance that they get moved. It just, the way they've been talking up Willier, and maybe that's to make him appealing to other teams, but I don't know, the way Cora's talked about him this offseason, the way they've kind of just talked about him in general, I'd be surprised if he's moved. Like from the beginning of the offseason till now, I stick by that the likeliest guy to move is definitely Duran. And I don't think there's a guarantee the Red Sox trade any of their outfielders. I think there's a real chance they go into spring with all 4 of them still on the roster. With the 4th being Anthony, obviously they're not moving on Anthony. Yeah, I think Duran's definitely, even more so than at the beginning of the offseason. I thought it was kind of close between him and Willier. I think Duran's definitely the likeliest to be.
I think if they can get someone to bite on Willier, I think they are probably starting to get.
Yes, yeah, I think that's part of it, but I don't know. I just the way
the first time they want to get out of course.
That's true. That is true. But I don't know. I tend to believe that Cora has more of a say in what's going on now than maybe ever.
He should.
But who knows? Yeah, no, you're not wrong that there was clearly a rift last offseason between Cora and the front office over Bregman. I can't imagine Cora's thrilled with them not getting Bregman back this offseason, but I still think Duran, and I think Duran again is a definite option for the Mets. I think the fit today is or at least the trade partner fit is a little more murky and a little harder to see today than it was 5 days ago or whenever before the Red Sox acquired Rangers was. The Red Sox don't need Jonathan or Brandon Sproat at this point.
You need infielders, right?
Yes, but Vientos or Baty isn't enough for Duran's trade.
Right, but there could be a prospect.
Mm-hmm. No, there's still they still match up to an extent.
An
for sure.
infield prospect.
Yeah, no, they still match up to an extent. Mm-hmm. I'm not denying that. I think the natural second piece for a while there, along with an infielder, was one of the pitchers. And at this point, the Red Sox.
Sure. Yeah.
Of course, you can always use another pitcher, but like it is getting to a point where it's like, okay, but how far backed up are they going to be? They're going to be like and I think Tong and Sproat are both great, but and would probably compete for a 5-star.
This conversation is a very good lead up to my.
But yeah,
I'm going to go to the bathroom.
Okay.
Okay.
So you guys can keep
going. Okay.
Yeah,
So I'm going to ask you, or did Sean already ask you? Who would you be the most upset about losing?
No, he didn't ask me that. He asked me who's likelier, or who's if of the 3 who's likeliest, or if Ceddanne is more likely to move now. I do think Ceddanne is slightly. I don't think they're going to move him, but I think he's right there with Willier at this point, chances wise, as I just said. The one I'd be most upset losing.
I feel like you're most attached to Duran.
I like Duran, and that's become a very unpopular opinion across the Red Sox.
I feel like you've always liked Duran.
For the team, I don't know. I think it's unpopular, but I do think probably still Duran. I really like Ceddanne. I really like Willier. Willier just hasn't.
Duran has the heart, I feel like, of the team.
Willier just hasn't shown the ability to hit against lefties yet, and neither has Duran really. Duran has shown glimpses, and he's gotten more chances Willier hasn't really gotten the chances hit against lefties, which it sounds like he's going through this year. Cedon is the best defensive center fielder in baseball. He's maybe the best fielder, period, in baseball. So team-wise, like if I'm saying where would they be worst off if they moved the guy, it'd probably be Cedon. It's hard to replicate what Cedon brings. It is also hard to replicate what Duran brings. I've said this from the beginning. I think the easiest guy to lose fit-wise is probably Willier, and that's no disrespect to Willier Abreu. I think he could be a 30 home run guy next year. And I think he's a really good player. But yeah, I'd say Duran or Cedon probably. And that's unpopular. But Duran's definitely the likeliest. And I think I'm maybe a little less upset if Duran goes now, just because I've kind of accepted the reality where
that it might happen.
There's a decent chance.
Has Duran been on the Red Sox his whole career?
Yes, he was drafted by the Red Sox.
So not
all three of these guys. I'm not sorry. Willier was not on the Red Sox.
I'm not saying this in whatever. Like, I'm not diminishing but do you think because of his history of do you think it would affect him his emotional state?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Considering his history.
Yes, I think it would be, but I think he's also kind of accepted and he talked on Section 10 a little bit about because it was there were a lot of rumors then as well. I think it would be a little jarring for him at first. Again, he spent his entire career, and he's obviously went through a lot here in Boston. He's 27,
and I feel like he and AC have a very a father-son type relationship. You know what I mean?
He's 29 now. Sorry.
I feel like they have a very close relationship.
Yeah. And he said that. He said that when it first hits him, obviously he's going to be sad. He said that he'd be crying, hugging all his teammates. But I think Jarren Duran's a guy where if he does get traded, and I've said this for a while, I could see it really going one of two ways in both extremes, and not necessarily that's going to happen. Either, he'll press a little bit and it might get ugly, or he's going to, it's going to put even more of a chip on his shoulder, and he's a guy who already plays with the chip, but even more so, and he's going to not be maybe 2024 version of himself, but closer to that than he was last year.
Listen,
I kind of tend to agree. But I think doing it in the off season might help a little bit. If it was mid-season, I think that would have went.
Trade deadline.
I think that would have. Now obviously the off season is over, and I think it would be a little jarring at this point if it happened because he's at Story Camp with Roman and all those guys, and so obviously.
I've said this a million times. Jarren Duran is one of those players. There's very few players that I would tune in to watch a game just to watch that player, and he's one of them. So I would love for him to be on the Mets.
I would. I think Duran. I've said this for a while. When he's at his best, is a game changer.
Dynamic.
Right? I think it's the 2024 season kind of speaks for itself when we're talking about what Jarren Duran. His absolute ceiling is, and do I think he's going to reach that ever again? No, probably not. There's about a 5% chance he does, but I think people around baseball, and mostly fans, I don't know about executives, doesn't seem like the Red Sox front office, but definitely fans have kind of started to undervalue Jarren Duran a little too much, in my opinion. I think people are forgetting that this guy wasn't that good last year. He had a down year. He was still a 4-win player last year. So I don't know. Jarren Duran's an extremely valuable player. I think the Mets, it would be a perfect fit for the Mets. But I think for Mets fans, they also have to remember, you're going to have to give up a pretty penny to get this guy. And fan bases, and including the Mets fan base, are acting like they wouldn't have to do so. I think Duran has become undervalued by many out there, including obviously Red Sox fans are the main culprit of that, in my opinion.
Well, I am not one of those.
I think Duran would be very good.
I think he's a good fit. I wonder if he can play against lefties. I don't.
That's the problem. That's the biggest problem with him is that he hasn't really gotten better against lefties, and that's definitely a big concern. And he's gotten, unlike a guy like Willier, he's gotten the opportunities against lefties and hasn't made much progress. So yes, that is a concern. I think it's a very big concern and probably my main concern with him. But I think the lefties thing, that's a very valid thing to worry about with Duran.
All right.
No, but I think before we never really talked about Bo Bichette, really.
I don't know that much about Bo Bichette, if I'm being honest.
Let's I do. Yeah, David, what's the scouting report on Bo Bichette?
Bichette's I think he's, I don't know if I'd call him an elite hitter, but he's close to that. He is just a very good pure hitter. He has power there also, but he uses all fields. I think that's his biggest calling card, is that he has the ability. He will get plenty of opposite field hits, power to all fields as well. I think this is a very great player. I wanted Bo Bichette. I mean,
I think
every year of his career except 2024, which was a shortened year, he's posted pretty borderline elite numbers at the plate and very consistent numbers at the plate as well. Every year that he, again, aside from 24, it's been 120 WRC plus or higher. Last year was arguably probably his best year. And the strikeout rate went down a lot last year. It already wasn't very high, but he really doesn't strike. He doesn't strike out at all, really. Doesn't walk a ton either, but this guy's a really good pure hitter. Again, I've already made my concerns with him in the field clear, but I think this is a perfect guy to slot in the middle of the order.
Not a lot of swing and miss. Nope. Like you said, in all fields, lets the ball travel deep, because he can let the ball travel deep. His bat speed that actually isn't as high as you think it is, because he's very quick.
He has a vicious swing.
He has a very quick move to the ball.
Obviously, as a Red Sox fan, I've seen him play against the Red Sox a lot. I don't have the numbers on this. I'm pretty sure he rakes at Fenway, which might be part of this. But he is one of the scarier hitters to face in the division, or he was in the division. One of the scarier hitters to face in the division, just because he does have that vicious swing. And I've seen him hit some moonshots over the monster. So again, he possesses some power there also, even if obviously only 18 homers this past year, but still. This guy, again, he's a scary presence at the plate. And he can beat you in a lot of ways.
I'm just going to pull up his Savant, because I think the thing about him is that he's one of those guys where he's not exactly trying to pull the ball, and then he ends up not accidentally pulling the ball, but he kind of taps into that pull side because he's just so quick.
Yeah.
And he ends up hitting moonshots, but he also ends up spraying the ball out all the field. He's going to be a player that I think Keith Hernandez really, really likes.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm just looking at like his spray chart now, like compared to Pete, and it's like he's basically like he's going to hit probably more doubles if he had 40-something doubles this last year. And, but it's like, in terms of the general spray of it all, he's all over. I think he's a very good hitter. I think a little bit to be desired in terms of discipline. And I don't think he necessarily taps into that, because I do think he can crush the ball. I don't think he necessarily taps into, getting the ball in the air as much as you might want him to.
Yeah.
I think sometimes where he'll hit line drives, I think he could be like something like 25, consistent 25.
I agree.
Hitter.
Yes, I agree.
Where is he hitting in the lineup, you think?
I think he's a good,
probably third.
Three.
Third?
Yeah. I think he makes sense third. I
Third
think
baseman who hits third.
I think behind Soto. I think behind Soto makes a lot of sense for him. Again, Soto gets on base. He's a guy going to put the ball in play. And that's a really beneficial thing to have behind Juan Soto.
Is leading off.
Yeah, behind those two guys, to have a guy that you know is going to put the ball in play is, I think, a very big thing. Because a lot of times when you're hitting behind, but Pete struck out a lot.
Yeah,
Pete has higher strikeout numbers than Bo Bichette. I think this is a pretty near perfect guy to be hitting behind those two. In my opinion.
Yeah, I think he's a good fit. I'm glad that they were willing to kind of say Brett Baty doesn't have to be the third baseman.
Yeah.
So I think this role for Brett Baty is much better suited for this role, where he's kind of spelling the
what's
boat.
his role?
His role now is
Just
kind of
play
just
anywhere.
roving infielder.
So he's like the new Jeff McNeil.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
First base, second base. He can play obviously third base.
Mhm.
Whereas you have to play the outfield.
Mhm.
They're going to try to play him in the outfield. I don't know if that's necessarily smart. I think they should just go out with more outfielders. Yeah, no, I think it works.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's in all fields.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about him. I feel like I should have from the World Series, but I didn't really.
I mean, did he play in every game in the World Series? Yeah, I guess, yeah. Because he was injured leaving in, he didn't play at all. And but he had a 3-run homer in Game 7 off Ohtani.
He did?
Yeah, he gave him a 3-0 lead. He was pretty good in the World Series,
I actually
think, right?
remember. He's like a Jake. I feel like Jake loved him.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I've always thought he's really good. I mean, yeah, he had the weird down year in 24. But besides that, again, like I said, he's been really good every other year of his career. So, yeah, and this is a guy, who's going to show up. There's some injury concerns, but it was really just that 24 year. And I know, obviously, he was injured at the back end of last year.
Yeah.
What was he? It was something.
I honestly don't know.
I know he was having problems running, so something lower. But
he's young,
but he looked fine in the World Series. So but, I mean, he didn't run very well, but
and listen,
at the plate he looked
want
perfectly
players,
fine, as evident by Game 7.
We want players who have playoff experience.
Yes,
so that's
also true. Yeah,
right? That's
Yeah.
good. Right. All right. Should we end with our boom or bust?
Yeah, Kim. I think Kim has a new exercise. Kim, you want to introduce it?
Yes. All right. So it's pretty self-explanatory. Boom or bust. We're going to do like quick fire here. So I'm going to say
Rapid
something.
fire. Yep.
Rapid fire. What did
Yep.
I say?
Quick fire.
Quick fire. Rapid fire.
Yep.
And we're not really going to discuss it too much. You guys are just going to say what your opinion is.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
All right. Here we go. Mets sign Belly. Boom or bust?
Bust. I don't think they're going to say.
Bust. I agree. I don't think they're going to sign him.
Baty is on the team opening day. Boom or bust?
Baty. Yes, I think Brett Baty is going to be on the team opening day.
David.
I agree. Boom.
Vientos on the team opening day. Boom or bust?
I mean, I think he fits. I don't know. I don't really like this game. I don't know. I don't like.
That's what makes it fun. You're
fun.
You're deliberating.
You're not deliberating. You literally just said we're not allowed to.
No. But I'm saying like you're thinking about it, so it's like it's a good question.
I think it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Boom. Why not?
I think bust. I don't think there's. I shouldn't say there's not a world where Baty and Vientos end up on the roster on opening day. But the Mets, I don't know why you haven't been answering. But I don't know. The Mets have a lot of infielders. And I know Baty, they're talking about him playing left field. But I see it's tough for me to see a world where all of these guys are on the roster. Vientos just to me seems like the odd man out. So
I think they're gonna be platoon heavy. I think Baty and Vientos are gonna switch off.
I could see that, but where are they gonna switch off?
First, third, or I guess first, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess, and there's still the DH. Yeah, and maybe. But I'll say bust. I think he's involved in one of these trades that I expect them to make at some point.
I agree. I say Vientos on the team opening day bust. I think he's going to be a trade piece.
Okay. What about Baty? We'll go backwards
Baty,
for you.
I think after talking to you guys, I think Baty might be on the team. So I'm going to say a boom.
And Bellinger?
I think the Mets. Listen, I think Steve needs to do damage control. Uncle Steve. I think boom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I think he's at least going to make a very aggressive offer.
Yeah.
I do think he's going to be in on it. I do. We kind of already discussed this, so I'm going to skip that. Okay. The Duran stuff.
Oh, we didn't.
All right.
Yeah.
Mets trade for Jarren Duran. Boom or bust?
Bust. I don't know.
David.
It makes sense. I see Robert also. Right now, though, I don't know. it makes a lot of sense. I think they might work something out. So I'll say a tentative boom. I don't really want it to happen because, again, I made my feelings clear, but I'll say a tentative boom. It makes a lot of sense. So.
I would love Jarren on my team, but I think they're going to get belly, so I'm going to say bust.
Okay.
Mets trade for a top tier number 1 starter.
Trade. Only trade?
True. No, not even truth or facts.
Yeah, this is the truth. This is the truth. This is the truth. I agree. I think they'll. No, it might be.
Wait on Freddie first.
I think I'll say this, and this is not with the game. But I'm just going to say this: the Mets are either going to get Freddie Peralta or Framber Valdez. Okay. It'll be one of those two.
But how do they get them? Is that a trade?
Well, if Freddie Peralta would be a trade. Framber Valdez is free. So it'll be it'll be one of those two.
So they're getting a top tier. So boom on a top tier.
Yes. Yeah. Boom on a top tier starter. And I think I'm David O'Cool guarantee that it's going to be either Freddie Peralta or Framber. I think I agree with you.
All right. I like that. Senga contributes to the team as a starter this year. Boom
as a starter? Even sorry.
Contributes
or is effective? Is it effective? What's the quality?
Makes positive contributions.
Makes positive contributions.
I think this is a bust. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where he stands. He was in the minor leagues at the end of last season. They were kind of hiding him. I don't know what the plan is. I don't know what he's been working on. I don't know what he's been doing. I don't know. I have no idea. I think he could start the year. I think he could start the year in the minor league.
He said bust. Yeah. I at any point this year.
Yeah. Any point this.
So he probably makes a good start.
Sure. Regular season. No, this regular season.
Yeah. No, sure. I'll have a little bit of faith. I could see him coming out of the bullpen at some point, though. So.
Yeah, I could see that.
Starter.
Yeah, okay, then bust. I could see him coming out of the bullpen.
I say bust. I have no faith in
Senga. I could see him.
Sorry, Johnny. I know Johnny loves Senga.
I could see him
no faith.
Starting the year in the minors, coming up, being a starter, being bad as a starter, and then they move him to the bullpen, and he's good there. So I think he could be maybe positive contributions out of the bullpen. But no, I'll say bust to that.
I say bust. Sorry, Johnny. Johnny is our most loyal follower /
a lot of people who like Senga still.
Same question about Minaya.
I think Minaya figures it out.
What?
I think Sean Minaya figures.
So you're saying boom?
Yes.
Yeah. I think there's a better chance with Minaya. So yeah, I'll say boom.
Agreed. I say boom.
Do I think Sean Minaya is going to return to what he was at the end of 2024? No.
Sean Minaya is a great number 4 starter.
Yeah. I think he could definitely be a serviceable.
I think he has the tools to do it.
I agree.
I agree.
I absolutely adore him. So, aside. McLean is the ace of the pitching staff. Boom or bust?
If it's Framber Valdez, boom. If it's Freddie Peralta, bust.
Okay, that's fair.
I agree with that. Ditto. I think Freddie Peralta's better. Obviously on opening day, the ace would still be Framber Valdez, but by the end of the year, I think Nolan McLean would solidify himself as the ace over Framber Valdez. If it's Freddie, I think Freddie's your guy that you're starting game 1 of the postseason. No, I would.
I think McLean could unseat.
I'd be surprised. Yeah, I love Peralta. I've loved him for a while. I think he's a top 10 pitcher in baseball, which apparently is like an outrageous take compared to where he's ranked on some of these lists. Like he's been ranked like 25 on most starting pitching lists. What the hell? Sorry, my computer's freaking out.
What's the thing on Stranger Things?
The upside down?
No, back.
Oh yeah, Vecna's taking over my Vecna was taking over my computer. Yeah. But yeah, I think Freddie Peralta is a top 10. So if it's Peralta, bust. But yes, I agree. Valdez, especially by the end of the year, boom.
I say a McLean is a stud. Boom.
Okay.
I'm all in on McLean.
Okay. No matter who they acquire.
As much as I don't have confidence in Senga, I do have.
Even if they acquire Scuba.
Oh no. Then he's a number 2. Then he's a solid number 2.
Yeah.
Then it's 1A, 1B.
Yep.
1A, 1B.
He's the 2. I think if they acquire Scooble, I think he's the 2.
Now these are some fun ones. My girl is
You only
like
have
Dora's
one?
walk up song.
Boom on opening day.
Yeah,
That's
on
cool.
opening day.
I could see him changing it.
Not, but
Yeah.
No, I'll say Boom. I think he'll stick with it. Yeah. But I could see him like wanting to change up the vibes.
I agree, but I feel like he tried to change it and it didn't last very long.
True.
So I'm gonna say
True.
it is his walk up song. Boom. The Mets have a Bo Bichette bobblehead for Bo Bichette.
It might be too late this year.
Boomer bust.
They
No,
could
it's not
they
too
could get
late.
it out by September, I think.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Sure, boom.
August or September. Do they have a Star Wars Day?
I don't know.
They usually do.
the
How
Red-
about May the 4th?
The Red Sox announced their Star Wars Day today.
Is it on May
The Red
4th?
Sox announced all their theme nights. Actually, I'm gonna but
Check the Mets. Check the Mets.
I don't think the Mets. I don't know.
Well-
But I'll say Boom. Yeah, I think by the end of the year they get it done. Peanuts Day.
Okay.
Sorry, that's all.
That's all I have. Does anybody have anything else? That was fun though, right?
I have one. The Mets also add a Diary of a Wimpy Kid Day, like the Red Sox.
Why do we have a diary for Why?
That's
Margaritaville Day as well.
That's a cool jersey though.
That's a boom for me. I think every team should have a Diary of a Wimpy Kid Day.
Oh no, you correct me.
The Grogu bobblehead is cool.
Okay. All right. So, do you guys have any?
Harry Potter.
I just gave mine. The Diary of a Wimpy Kid. Do you think the Mets have
I'm
one?
gonna say a Boston.
Come on.
Boom. I think
Is there a new movie?
Roger throws out the
Is there a new movie coming out or something?
Was that fun? Can everybody say that was fun?
Yes, that was fun. That was a good time.
All right. That's all I have. Those are pretty good though, right?
Oh my God, they're gonna have a loaded diaper cover band on Jersey Street.
That's fucking
I
awesome.
need to go to
Holy
this.
shit.
I
When is
mean,
this?
it's April 18th.
Is that
Wait, is that
Yeah,
what
it's 2 days. No, I have the 20th. I have Patriots Day. But yeah, no, I'm going to that. A loaded day, yeah.
Yeah,
I
think I might have to go to that too.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, that was fun.
That was fun.
I enjoyed that.
I don't like it because I don't like it because I don't know. I don't know the answer to any of this.
Well,
It's better than truth or
I
fact.
think that's the fun in it, John.
Yeah,
I think none of us know.
I have no idea. I don't know if they're going to trade Brett Baty. I kind of suspect they might trade Brett Baty, but I kind of also see where he fits. And I don't really necessarily know if they're going to like trade Jacob Raymer for Jarren Duran because I don't know. People are fucking. The Mets are fucking weird. So I don't know. Like
That's the fun of the exercise.
for Jarren Duran, what does it end up being? Brett Baty, Jacob Raymer, and it'd probably be a pitcher.
Yeah.
Probably be. I think I could see a 3 for 1 where they're trading like 3 like good or 2 good prospects and then a major league piece.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree. Yeah. No. I agree. The discourse on Twitter today has annoyed me about Mets
Jarren.
fans with
Yeah.
Jarren Duran. So
Yeah, I don't.
yeah.
I don't get it.
And someone, because there was someone in the replies of a tweet that suggested Vientos and Tong for Duran, which again would be a lofty price, but I think that's like pretty realistic of what the Red Sox are going to ask. And Mets fans acted like that was the most outrageous suggestion ever. Yeah, but no, I think that's a realistic package. Yeah, I don't know if it'll be one of the names. Obviously not McLean. I don't think at this point it would be Tong or Sproat. I think it might be a position player prospect instead, along with Beatty or Vientos, and then maybe another piece. But yeah, I think that's a fairly realistic package.
So yeah, if the Red Sox agree to that, then yeah, I think Beatty.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I don't know.
No, it's fun. It's just
hypothetical.
It's like, what do you think? It's
it's an exciting time. No, it's
Boomer bust. The Giants and John Harbaugh will get all this worked out.
What's happening?
I don't really know.
What is going on?
I don't know. It sounds. I mean, everyone's saying that everything's still on track, but it's now been like 3 days, and so I don't know if everything's still on track. But I'll still say boom for that.
Boomer bust. The Johnnies beat the
Wildcats,
Wildcats.
Villanova.
I couldn't think. I was gonna say Villanova, but I don't know what they were.
Boom.
Boom.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a big one. It's a big one for the Giants. I keep looking because I think there's a camera.
I know.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a big one. Tomorrow, I don't know when this, probably tonight, but this is when this is going to be released. But yeah, big one for the Giants. The next two are going to tell us a lot about the St. John's team against Villanova and Seton Hall. If they can go 2-0 here, then they kind of established they're safely, I think, in not like a lot, but they're safely in the tournament. And I think a team that could make some noise moving forward. And we'll see how they look the next two games, though.
Boomer bust. The poverty pirates are for real.
I will find out on Tuesday.
Yeah.
We might be going.
Yeah.
Right?
I'll see how they look. I think. Wait. So you're asking if they're for real? Boom. I think the Seton Hall team is a really tough team. They remind me.
I like how David explains what I mean by poverty.
Yeah, they have the culture of last year's St. John's team, I think, where they're going to give you a tough 40 minutes. They're going to play really good defense. I think Holloway's done a really good job over there. I mean, an incredible job. He's the Big East Coach of the Year right now. Even if UConn finishes as the best team in the country, I think if Seton Hall keeps going down this path, Holloway wins Big East Coach of the Year.
Rick has something to say about that.
Rick's not winning Big East Coach of the Year. Yeah, but I Seton Hall, I think, really good defensive team. Obviously doesn't have the talent, I don't think, that last year's St. John's team did, but they're a good team. I think they'll make the NCAA tournament. And yeah, I think they'll give St. John's 40 minutes of really tough basketball in Houston.
You know who Seton Hall,
is it a bust for you?
You know who Seton Hall doesn't have?
No.
Zuby.
That's true. Good point. Nobody else does.
Yeah. It's a bust for me. They're not.
Zuby for. We love Zuby here on Queenie Out.
We do. We're Zuby lovers here.
Yep.
At least I'll speak for myself.
And Dylan Mitchell.
Yes.
I'm a Zuby lover. Yep. All right. So we will be at MSG on Tuesday.
Yep.
Running the back.
Sean,
you coming?
Yeah, we'll see. So. We've had a busy week in baseball. I say we keep it going over the weekend. Maybe some more moves.
Let's go.
Over the weekend. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
That would be nice. You got a Twitter alert.
Oh, you did?
No.
Oh, no.
It's NYC station.
Okay.
So, no big deal there. All right. Yeah, you guys can close it out.
All right. So, all right. So let's hope we sign more good players. We trade for more good players. I don't know. I don't even know what I'm hoping for anymore, but like just good players. I don't even care who they are anymore.
Fuck yeah.
I don't know. Right? I don't care.
Sounds good to me.
Just get better.
Pitcher and an outfielder.
Just get better.
Pitcher and an outfielder.
Pitcher and an outfielder. That's our mantra. Pitcher and an outfielder. Sounds good to me. All right. This has been Cleaning Out.
Yep.
All right.
Bye.
Over and out.